Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to this fire celebration. We're having a fire celebration, fire ceremony for our planetary parade. You can hear the helicopter up top because I'm outside. And we're going to talk about astrology, what it means, the power of fire, the spiritual energy of fire, and all these wonderful, beautiful things. Now, I'm going to be taking some time where I don't speak, just enjoy the fire, because I'm also going to be doing some ceremonial things to help bring in this energy. And I clear this live so that only what is in the greatest and highest good of humanity and all of those watching occurs. And nothing else is welcome other than what is in the highest good of everyone, the planet, all of our ancestors, and of course, the divine is welcome as always. So enjoy the fire while I do my thing. And I will be speaking from time to time. Like I said, we're going to be talking about fire energy, the planetary parade, the energies coming down, and how you can participate with it right now. It's a good, perfect time. And we're going to do all kinds of things to help bring this energy down in the divine. Because you know that war going on, it's to distract you. It's to distract you from yourself, from what the divine is giving you and bringing to you through the universe. And the divine is nothing other than, nowhere other than within you. Never forget that. All right, so enjoy this wonderful fire. And feel free to comment. Thank you so much for sharing and liking this live so that others who want to participate can do so. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Give multiple likes. Let's get us up to 10,000 likes. Well, I'll set this fire up, get the ceremony ready, then we'll have a nice conversation next to the fire. Where are you, Louie? My dog Louie was out here the whole time while I was setting this up. Oh, there he is. You might see him in the picture from time to time. All right, there are 4 of you here. Where are you guys from? That's Love and Peace. Thank you, Love and Peace. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. Where's everyone from? As this fire goes, share with us. All right. Thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. Let's see if anybody's answered where you're from. I don't see anything. Of course, we're busy doing the preliminary, sharing and liking. Thank you so much. All right. As I prepare this fire, I work with nature. And so this fire is going to be imbued with some of the bountiful harvests from the planet. All plant material, no meat. And as you guys will know, only those with the best of intentions for the highest good can participate in this. Because no unwelcome, harmful energy is allowed. And I'm sure you guys appreciate that, being the benevolent beings that you are. So, you guys, the live has been restricted. I've just appealed it. Why, we don't know, but just know that this live will continue. And this rose that I've just picked that grows in my yard is for everyone here. I send it out through you, through the great energy of fire. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hey, please continue to share and like the live. So let me move to the side so you guys can enjoy this wonderful fire that's contained in a very safe container. And I don't know why they've restricted the live. I've done lives like this. You guys, almost every one of you here have participated in lives like this. So if something happens, just continue and know that I'm going to continue this live. And I'm going to continue this effort, because this just this tells us that what we're doing right now is so important. And we'll be talking about all of this continually, and we will keep it to astrology, and we'll keep it to the fire and such in terms of conversation. So comment. I guess I've just pulled it up. Just comment on how much you love to shop on TikTok Shop. TikTok shop is wonderful. So make some comments like that. For those who know, you know. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. All right. Hope that you're enjoying and participating in this live effort. Remember your daily heart me's. And thank you so much for sharing the live and sharing and liking the live. So I've been flagged for irregular gift participation, whatever that means. So it's okay. It's okay. You please continue to share and like the live, and we'll move forward. We'll keep going. So, you guys, let's sit here as this fire goes, and let's start off by talking about why we're having this fire. Why we're having this fire, right? As we sit, I'm moving the phone closer to me, but while still allowing. Okay, so you guys let me know if you can hear me really well. Can you guys hear me really well before I start talking? Okay, thank you. love and peace. Thank you so much. All right. We're having this to celebrate the planetary parade because 2026, as you guys know, 2026 has just begun. And it's starting off with a bang. And when I say 2026, I'm talking about the 2026 that has to do with the lunar calendar. Because in just 16 days, it will be the spring equinox. Yes? And that's when the true new year begins. That's when the true new year begins. And we're kicking it off strong with a lunar parade, or with a planetary parade, a series of planets that were visible in the skies, as some of us were able to see. And this is so important because what's coming with this are all of these transformational energies. They're going to put this planet back and take it out of crazy land, right? Where everything is so out of this, such in disarray that it's hardly explicable, right? Everything looks so crazy, and we're wondering, you go to bed one night, and I'm not going to mention anything about what's going on in any other place, right? You guys all know what I'm talking about. And everything, you go to bed one night, and then the next day you're in the middle of this big kerfuffle going on in the world. Just like that. Because we have madmen running the planet. And that's as explicit as I'm going to get. Everything is for entertainment purposes only, you guys. Entertainment purposes only. So we've got this planetary parade, and it's coming right off the heels of the retrogrades that we had from August all the way into December, of all the outer planets, the planets that are way out on the outskirts of our solar system, Pluto, Uranus, those guys. And we had Jupiter, Saturn, and these planets, when they go retrograde, for some of them, retrogrades are hundreds of years in between. And those are to bring generational changes, right? These planets from that came out are bringing generational changes, and they're purging things out that don't belong here anymore. Have you guys ever purged? Have you guys ever cleansed your body or spiritually purge, had that purging and how you feel? It's not a very comfortable thing, but it's a necessary thing. It's a necessary thing because the body purges to get rid of toxins and poisons. The planet is no different. So there are many who don't want to go through this. I hear, I've been looking around and watching comment sections, and people go, oh, how can I get out of this country? I don't want to be here when that happens. And my comment to them is, you know what? You participated in this stuff. And now when it's time to go to do the hard work, to correct the things that you participated in, you want to run. No, you're nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You benefited from the sickness here, and so you have to correct it, or you go with the sickness when it leaves. Because the divine, she's not playing around. So these planets are working, and they're working for us. Now we had this alignment that happened on the 28th of February. And right on the back of that, the lunar eclipse of the third on the third of March, and then we've got some other things happening this month. This is the time. This is the time to participate in what I call the shifting and the purging. Not necessarily to manifest anything, but people always manifest, 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 manifest. But I don't want to manifest through a system of, let's just say, a system that took advantage of other people. I don't want to manifest through that and put my fellow human beings through hell just because I want something for me. So this is why I say, let's participate in the correction. And we start by participating from within ourselves. And just say, hey, whatever thing that is a part of my life that is not a part of the great change that is to come, let that thing go. And then be ready to accept and release whatever that thing is. And as you guys know, I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't say things in a delusional way, because I like to keep it real. So sometimes it may not be comfortable. And for some of you who've been doing this work for a long time, you've probably already done it before the planets even showed up. And if you have, then you're in a good place, because you're already doing the work, ahead of Mother Gaia. Because if the planet does it for you, the universe does it for you, then you get it the way you get it. But if you do it for yourself, then it's a lot easier. Or if you do it when the energy is really strong and you're participating with it, it's like you're riding the slipstream. Absolutely, absolutely powerful. And so, as I've said repeatedly, what is coming down? What is it that's coming down? When I say coming down, it's actually coming from inside and out. What's coming are so many things, so many changes, where those who work, but most of their efforts are going to the benefit of people who do not work, but are going to the benefit of people who have created a system where they simply extract at the expense of the planet and the expense of humanity. That system is going to have to crumble, because it's based on tyranny, and the universe will not support tyranny. The universe will not support tyranny. You want to end something real quick? You want to end a system really quickly? Become tyrannical and see what happens. In 1 or 2 lifetimes, that thing's going to be gone. And when we're talking about major systems that govern our planet, most of them are parasitic. All right, folks, everything is for entertainment purposes only. Let's enjoy our fire, and I'm going to keep talking, because I'm going to talk and I'm going to deliver the message no matter what happens. And you guys just participate with this fire as we bring in these wonderful energies. Right? As we bring in these wonderful energies. And do not worry about what's going on here. Thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. Thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. As I speak for entertainment. Now, what else is coming? Transformation. And like I said, the things that you work so hard for, where most of your energy and the efforts are going elsewhere, or the rewards, that's going to change. Where what you work for will come back to you. What you create will come back to you. There will be a freedom that comes here, a freedom that will not have to be fought for. Because if you have to fight for freedom, you don't have it. Freedom doesn't come through a fight. Freedom just is. And that's an experience that humanity has never had. We don't have a history of that. The modern human being does not have a history of freedom that does not have to be fought for. So we don't even know what that is. Right? We don't know what freedom is because we fight for it. And if you have to fight for it, you don't have it. If you have to fight for justice, you don't have it. All of these things, if they come with a fight, they're not really the true thing. Imagine a world where those things are just a natural part of existence. Imagine what that's going to be like. Imagine what that's going to be like. And where true creativity will flourish once again. True creativity will flourish once again. We don't really know what that feels like or looks like either, because we've never had it. But we do have a glimpse. Everything I speak of, we have a glimpse of it because deep inside of us, we know it. We just have never experienced it in the physical reality. These energies are here to bring all of that. Now, is it going to be a bit crazy, tumultuous? Is it going to look a bit sketchy? Like it's never going to happen? Absolutely. You know, for some of you and for many of you, especially you in the spiritual community, my spiritual tribe, I've talked about how 2026 is going to be a transformational year where you're going to be able to start creating, where those doors and avenues are going to open up. They are. But you're also living in a world where that kind of energy is making its way to other people. So it's going to look crazy. And the focus on yourself in this regard is going to be a bit difficult if you put your gaze on what's going on out there and then become fearful or doubtful about what should be happening with you. This is why I preach ad nauseum about the ancestors and how you should be working with them. And not put your energy in things that you have no control over because it's already being taken care of. You just need to do you. You just need to do you. Because when these, and I don't like to call them blessings because they're not, that's not in my opinion, a word that, you notice I never use that word. Because of how it's getting tonight, I'm not going to get into what that word means because of how sensitive the algorithm is with things that I'm saying. Because right now the live is restricted for 10 minutes. Again, twice. So these are not blessings. These are birthrights. Right? These are not things that, somebody is being kind enough to give you. You're bringing it here by virtue of your own very existence. You're bringing it here by virtue of your very own existence. By the way, you guys, thank you for sharing and liking the live. Some of the abilities that are hiding inside of that so-called junk DNA is they're going to come online. And many of them are going to be abilities that are completely foreign to us. They're just going to show up and we're going to wonder, what the heck is this? But if you're in line with your ancestors, you'll be completely fine because they know how to work with it and they'll hand it to you because it's yours. And it needs to be in your hands because you are the part of your spirit team that is working on the physical side of reality. Because you see, you're in a team and each team member has a responsibility. Our responsibility as the physical ones are to experience the transformations. We are the experiencers and the implementers. We experience and we put it in. We put it into the reality and we experience. That's our responsibility. If you want to know how the team works, we'll go through it really quickly. Your spirit team works. Your higher self, the true you, is the creator. The soul is where you and your spirit experience and create. The soul is simply a part of your spirit that turns to a soul when it gets into the reality. The soul is physical. The soul is a physical thing, not as physical as, say, a tree, your hand, and all of that, but it is physical. It is a part of the physical side of who you are. And its purpose is to record the experiences. And it knows that that's what its job is. And so your soul's desire is to fulfill your spirit's creation. And it can only do that if you, the experiencer, is aware, and if you, the experiencer, are traveling in the path of your spirit, the one you created before you came physical here. And so what the soul wants is it wants to experience. It wants to experience. What does that mean? How does it do that? It does that because your spirit, which you are in, your spirit is not inside of you, you are inside of your spirit. That's how it works, not the other way around. The spirit is both inside and outside of you, and you are inside of it. But it doesn't dominate you. It doesn't interfere with you. You are the experiencer, and the experiencer gets to choose in a limited capacity, in a limited amount of time, in a lifetime. We know a life is coming to an end. You want to be experiencing what you plan to experience when you come here, because if you run around experiencing all the shit you didn't come here to experience, you're going to be in shock when you move off of the stage of life. You don't want that kind of shock. You don't want that kind of shock. When someone passes from the planet, you know that they've lived that life that they came here to live, because they pass away with a smile on their face. They pass away very, very peacefully. Smile on their face, in peace, because they played the game right. And most of those who don't play the game right, just before they draw the last breath, they actually see themselves walking off the stage. And at that point, they know exactly what happened. And many people die with a proverbial shock on their face. Eyes open, mouth open, and everything. That's not, the body does that because that's the last expression that came out just before they drew the last breath. That expression says, I did not do what I came here to do. OMG, WTF. That's what that expression says. And so we want to leave here with an expression where it doesn't matter where you are on the path. You found the path and you found yourself. You found the path and you found yourself. You know how many people have not done that? And here you are in the most important lifetime. The most important lifetime you had. If you are here, this is the most important lifetime that you've had on this planet. This one. Because this one is the culmination of all the stuff that you've done, all the preparation that you have made in the previous ones, so that you can come here and perform the grand finale, you and your ancestors. This one is the grand finale. Thank you so much for sharing and liking the live. This lifetime is the grand finale. This lifetime is where you want the logos, the proper order of things to happen. And what is the proper order of things? It's very simple. Your spirit creates and your soul follows. You jump and then the soul follows, and you and your soul experience. The spirit jumps and the soul follows. If you want to really just break it down, the spirit jumps, creates, and you and your soul follows. That's why you're the experiencer. And if you're experiencing the way you should, you'll be following your spirit. And then when you leave the stage, whether that be the life or whether or into the transformation, it's quite easy. If you leave the stage before this is all done, you're either going to leave it with a smile or you're going to leave it with a shock. If you live throughout all of the transformation, then you will live through the separation of those who chose life and those who chose something else. Those who chose life or those who chose something else. Because we're having conversation tonight, Aralia, Energy Flow and I, and she was in a place and she realized, she said, you know what? I could see how this planet is separating. There are those of us who are so caught up in the trivialities of life, get upset over the simplest things. And she said, I was watching someone get upset over something I don't even think of anymore. And I realized how the separation is happening. Like, this person was like a stranger to me. She said, it was amazing. And she said, the kinds of things that are important, this person was just going bonkers over something that had no significance. Meaning they're so caught up in the trivialities and the little unimportant things in life. Meanwhile, their spirit and their souls are completely in the background. Thank you guys so much for getting us to 10K likes in spite of the circumstances. Thank you so much, right? So when we're walking the path of our spirit, we are directed to what's important, right? And it's practical. It's so simple. It's not something out there in left field. Like, for example, knowing about this planetary alignment, actually using your intention to participate in it, listening to that inner voice. That's how you travel the path. That's how you travel the path. And you allow yourself to be empowered. Right? Those of you in the community, tomorrow I'm going to put in a little video right from this app. I'm going to put that video up where an individual right from this app. I'm going to put that video up where an individual broke down full empowerment, power, being powerful, and empowerment. And once you watch that, it will transform the view of who you are, because transformation doesn't have to take a long time. It can happen at the snap of a finger. So I'm going to put that up there for all of you to see, because it was so important. I also reposted it because I felt, you know what, this is something everybody should see. Because even I learned something from watching it, and I go, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Right? Because anything I see that's transformational that I can share, I share it. Okay. We're going to talk about fire in a second. I'm going to give this one a little bit more, some more fuel. Give this one a little bit more fuel. All right. Let me get out of my chair here and fuel it up a bit more. You guys can't see him, but I have a dog here, Louis. He's keeping our company. Keeping our company. Let's give it a little bit more. A bit more wood. So grateful to nature for giving us the ability to do this. Grateful to our tree family for providing us the fuel. All right. There we are. A little bit more. So, fire is such a powerful thing. And we know in the physical realm, we know what it does. It helps keep us warm. It helps us to survive. It can also destroy, right? It can also destroy, but it's a very powerful and necessary energy. And on the spiritual level, fire is a messenger, right? So this fire will send messages of all kinds to those that are benevolent to the universe. And yes, there's only 10 of us here, but just know it doesn't take a large number, right? It doesn't take a large number of us. And you could just participate in this fire and deliver this energy, bring this energy into yourself. You don't really have to do that, but this is just another way of you saying, I accept what the divine is bringing in. And through this fire, send your good intentions so that it goes across the planet. This fire is not going to carry any rotten ass crap. So don't bother. But I know most of you here are benevolent beings. But I just have to put it out there as a declaration. Right? I just have to put it out there as a declaration. as to what the intention behind this fire is, just in case. Right? Because we don't need a large crowd. As I've said many times before, we often think that we need everyone's participation or a large group or number of people, when in fact, if you have the correct intention, you could be one person, one man, or one woman. If the divine is with you, that's all that you need. And you know, I always repeat this. The crowd is never the one that will set, the crowd is never the one that starts transformation. It always starts with a small group of people. Always. Always starts with a small group of people. And so fire is a very divine messenger. Very divine messenger. Right? And this is why it's so important for us to tune into things beyond the physical. Beyond the physical. Because existence itself, when properly explained, it has layers. And the elements are the beginning layers. But the foundation on which all of the elements are existing is spirit. And when you talk about the foundation of reality, in schools and in many places, they'll start with the elements: earth, wind, fire, water, and ether. Those are the five. For those of you who think it's wind, no, wind is not an element. Wind is a part of the air element. It is not an element on its own. There are only five: earth, air, water, fire, and ether. Five. Now, with that, the next level of reality becomes possible. And the next level of reality after that is the mineral kingdom. The mineral kingdom. Right? So at the base layer of all existence is spirit. Never forget that. Spirit. The next level are the five elements. The next level are the mineral kingdom. And the mineral kingdom, along with the three previous layers, allow the plant kingdom to exist. And then when the plant kingdom exists, then it's possible for us to exist, for animals to exist. And everything surrounds that. So those are the layers of reality. Those are the layers of reality. Your ancestors, they mimic that. But you know what the base level of your ancestors are? Your spirit. Your spirit. Because there's a reason why I harp on the ancestors. Because ultimately, the great ancestor is spirit. Because that's where everything comes from. So that's why I said when you become acquainted with your higher self, you become acquainted with your ancestors, you become acquainted with your inner child, you become acquainted with your spirit, because each ancestor represents a certain aspect of your spirit, and you're all one. And the reason why you're all one is really simple, even though it's not anything that you'll hear anywhere else yet. You'll start to hear this more often because this is a truth coming in. The reason why you and your ancestors are one, you and all that, is because the same spirit that's inside of you is the one that is inside of them as a different aspect of itself. You all share the same spirit, That's why you're one. Why are we one with the Creator, with the Divine Mother? Because all of the spirits that comprise the human spirit and all the others, the animals, the animal spirit, plant spirits, all of that, they were all birthed by the Divine Mother. They all came from her through partnership with the Divine Father, Source Creator. But she's the one that birthed all of them. That's why we are one. That's why the term from the one came many. And we see this. Hey, I'm Rising. And we see this in the microcosm of life. You can have parents, and from the mother comes all of the children. You see how simple it is? A lot of times, where do we come from? How did we get here and all of that? That's basically explanation. We're watching it and seeing it every day. But often we've got people in their silly books and their silly philosophies that pull us away and make a simple thing so complex. Just like you can have many children, that's exactly how the Divine Mother created everything. She just birthed it into existence. Oh, where's my spirit from? How did it come? It comes from the Divine Mother, the Great Spirit, the Great One. So when we participate in with the planets and what they're bringing, they're all bringing. It's all just another form of the Divine Mother bringing love in a different way and a different energy to all of her children. That's what's happening. It's all the Divine Mother bringing what we need to us in a different way. And she brings it to us the way we need to get it, which may not necessarily match with how we want to get it. Sometimes she has to be a tough mama. But you know what? She's down here with her children. And she doesn't need a book. We all have to just look inside of ourselves and we'll see her right there in all forms. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, we're all aspects of that one being, the Divine Mother. Right? And the reason why the divine has been with us and has stood by humanity is because we are worth the hassle and the trouble, the tribulations, and all of it. We are worth all of it. That's why I say to you, these planetary alignments, Mother Gaia, she is going through all of this with us because we are precious and are worth every single bit of effort. And the minute we come to that realization, then we'll start seeing worthiness within ourselves. Because I used to, this is just my experience. I used to like wonder, because every time, even now, I talk to my ancestors and they'll say, you have so much this and that. You have so much love within you. You have so much greatness. You can transform. And they tell me, go back into the years, and they tell me stuff that I'm like, who are they talking about? What are they talking about? I can barely figure out my day and they're telling me this. Right? I don't know if any of you have gone through that experience with your spirit team, whether it be through them speaking through someone else, right? And they give you this side of you that you're like, how's that possible? And then I realize, okay, I have to believe this. by actually going through and following up with those words so I can see. And all they're doing is pointing you to the best version of yourself that is already there for you to aspire to, leap, and go to. Because they're sitting there waiting for you. While they're sitting there with you where you are in the moment, they're also sitting in the best version of you at the same time. That's why it's important to not see your ancestors as dead people, to not see your ancestors as something in the past. Because if you do that, you will not be able to see them showing you the best version of yourself and how to become that. And you must see them that way in order to come to that realization so you can actually become that. And it might seem out of this world, unbelievable, unimaginable to you. Yes, unimaginable to you. That's where the you, that's where you are right there. But your future self is fully aware. And your future self is sitting inside of them. So they're sitting inside of you as your present self, while at the same time, your future self. So when you aspire to the future self that they show you, yeah, then you are on the world stage. You are on the world stage, knocking it out of the park, acing it. But all of it happens with no pressure, doesn't it? All of it happens with no pressure. Had a session with someone last was it last week or week at last? I don't remember. And the ancestors will tell you what's next. And they said, this young man, the next steps for his next great awakening is to become, and I'll put it in a way so that you guys get it without any other nonsense coming on algorithm wise, where the medicines in nature, right? The medicines is what he needs to get to the next level. And they gave the prescription for his next level of evolution right there. All right? Nothing to have to think about, nothing to have to wonder about. They have just given it. So, this young man, who is one that follows his ancestors to a T, is going to take those next steps. Very practical. They don't speak in confusion. So these steps that we take are practical. Being aware and participating with the skies, very practical. You wake up tomorrow morning and, it won't seem like anything has changed, right? But you don't judge it based on that. Why? Because spirituality and the energies that actually create the reality in this planet are very subtle. Very subtle. One of the reasons why we sometimes wonder, how am I creating my reality? I don't go around wanting to be in this situation or that situation or this situation or the other situation. That's because it's created. That's because it's created subtly. Your mind is most creative when you are fast asleep. And it creates based upon what you focused on. We might say, oh my God, what's happening over there is terrible, 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 terrible. Over there, terrible, terrible, terrible. And then things start looking terrible in your life. Well, your mind only knows what you're thinking. I had the puzzle piece, you guys, and I had to do it like 3 times. I had to do it like 3 times in order to get it going. So let me put it back on here so we can enjoy our beautiful fire. Right? We can enjoy our beautiful fire here. Where was I? I was talking about how reality is very subtle. Oh yeah. So your whole day. This is why they do what they do. This is why they create the chaos and mayhem. Because if you look at that and you become depressed of how terrible everything is, your mind doesn't know that you think it's terrible because of what's happening somewhere. It only knows that a terrible thing or an energy of terror or terribleness is occurring most of the day. So then it goes, that's the focus. And then, of course, you have emotion behind it, you have feelings behind it. Then it goes out at night and duplicates the terrible nature of things in your life because that's what you're generating during your waking moment. That's why, if it's very difficult for you to look at all that stuff and maintain your emotional integrity, your high frequency, your happiness, your joy, your even neutrality, and all of that, and during the day you're in sadness, disappointment, fear, being afraid, then your mind will start to create the things that bring those emotions because as far as it knows, that's where you're at. That's what you're focusing on. So you must want that. This is why it's important not to watch these things if it affects the way you feel. Because you don't need to. Because let me ask you something. Last year, when this whole thing started over there in the Middle East, let me ask you something. If you were none the wiser or aware that it was even happening, would it have negatively affected your life right now? If you were not aware. Thank you so much, BMW 63. Thank you so much. If you were not aware, would it have negatively, what would it have done? What would be different about your life if you weren't aware? Nothing. Nothing. You'd probably be better off because you'd just be thinking about the happy things and I'm not talking about being delusional and positive and all of that. I'm talking about creating your reality based on high frequencies, even though you're aware of all the things going on in the world. Because you can be aware of all the things going on in the world, but if you can't do anything about it, you might as well not be aware of it at all. You're better off not being aware of it. If it means being aware of it is going to tear you down, is going to bring you into sadness, depression, and doubt about existence, you're better off not being aware of it. If being aware of it will bring that to your life, because it's a slippery slope and it's a snowball that will turn into an avalanche, because your mind will then create based upon your daily emotional states while you're walking around, and it will base it upon how you feel about that. So that's how we create our reality without realizing that we're creating it. We're going, I didn't want this situation to happen. And you don't. From a conscious mind, you don't. This is why you focus on what you want in life. So that when these things, distractions come about, you always go back to your base, which are the things that you desire. And you pull away from that and go on to the things that you're desiring. Your mind goes, oh, today, BMW 63. For 2 weeks now, she's been thinking about this, thinking about that, thinking about this, thinking about that. And BMW 63 goes and checks out what's going on in the latest chaos. But BMW 63 sees the chaos and goes, yeah, that's a distraction. It's in her mind, right? She has seen it, right? But she has not attached herself emotionally to the chaos. So the mind goes, oh, that's not important. Now she knows it's happening. She's seeing it. And she might even gotten a little bit emotional about it. But then she purged it out and went back to the base, what she wants out of life. And the mind goes, oh, yeah, she did that. She looked at that. But no, that's not the focus. She's focused on this. And it starts to create that. That's how someone in a really terrible situation, surrounded by misery, surrounded by failure, surrounded by the wrong people, can pull out of it. Because it doesn't matter what they're surrounded by. If what their focus is on something else, if their focus is on rising above all of that, it doesn't matter. The mind will create the situation where the rising will happen. That's how people get out of horrible situations. They simply focus themselves on where they want to be. And the mind only knows what you want. And then the mind delivers it through opportunities that will be brought to you. Because the mind will go out at night when you're asleep. See your mind as a person that works for you. See your mind as the executive assistant like no other. And so it goes out and it works for you. And it takes the marching orders based upon what you focus on and how you feel about what you're focusing on. This is literally how we create our realities. Your focus, your desire, and your emotions create your reality. You don't need a manifestation course. You already know how to do that. You do it all the time. You just need to know how to stop manifesting stuff you don't want. And the most powerful manifestations are the ones that come from the heart. The things that you really desire, but that are also beneficial not only for you, but the rest of the planet. So if you get that thing, it'll be good for you and it'll be good for the planet and it'll be good for other people. That kind of manifestation is what we need to focus on. And if you manifesting $1 million in your pocket is good for you, good for the planet, that thing is coming. That's the kind of energy that's coming down here now. And don't you worry about those who we know are not in alignment with that. Them and their billions. Because all of their stuff is going to crumble. Because it has to. Because it's based on parasitic behavior and systems. Those systems are crumbling as we speak. Look what's happening right now to Lady Liberty over there. Things that have never happened to Lady Liberty. The United Snakes is now happening. Things that you would never imagine, they're now happening. So it's not just talk. You are seeing transformation happening before your eyes. Those who were powerful and considered untouchable are now in the period and days of the rude awakening that's been awaiting them. In their arrogance, they're having to face, the divine, because she's got the stick out. Yeah. And if you're paying attention, you'll see that stick being wielded. And before your eyes, right? It's not going to be easy. I still maintain what I said about 2026 for those of you. That's why, oh, by the way, for those of you who are interested in joining the spiritual community, My Spiritual Tribe, the website is myspiritualtribe.com, or you can just DM me, because this year, every single month, I'm going to bring and talk to you the obstacles that are brought up regularly that you may not have ever been aware of, and what you do to bring in and create your reality for that month. In other words, create the things that you want as opposed to unconsciously creating the things that you don't want and then not knowing why it's happening. And just focus on your stuff, and also be aware that others are creating too. And you want to protect your creation from others by, first of all, associating yourself with the right peer group and not those who would uncreate what you're creating or put poison in your coffee. That's number one. You get the peer group, the people who are like you and are going to support you. And number two, you keep your mouth shut. Don't tell people what you're doing. They'll find out after you do it. Do not express what you're doing. You just go about it quietly. You, yourself, and your ancestors. And then they'll find out after you've accomplished it. It's too late to ruin it once it's already been birthed and sitting there. They'll find out about it. Too late for them to put poison in there. So find the peer group, the people that are going to be who are like you and who are going to be like you. That's your peer group. I can guarantee you this. You know how somebody's going to go? Based on their peer group. You know where they're going. You know, there's all kinds of saying for that. Birds of a feather flock together. I can tell you where you're going based on the 5 friends that you're closest to. Y'all going to the same place. So be cautious and be very selective of who your peer group is. And they don't have to be the next door neighbor or somebody you physically with. They could be anything. Right? Because nowadays, your peer group doesn't have to be the people who you're physically around. That could be people at a distance. And now that we have the ability to virtually connect to each other through community or an audience format like this, because this is an audience. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, my TikTok community." There's no community in TikTok. There's no audiences. There's only an audience. All the social media platforms, they're audiences. They're not communities. A community has to be designed and where there's interlocking relationship and communication and exchange. Right? Very, very, very important to know. And so when you are creating, and you are always creating, your peer group and who you let in on your creation before it comes up is very important. Keep those lips zipped. And get rid of the hangers on. That's number 3. Those people who they just hang on. They're not really like you, but they don't seemingly to be against you, but for some reason they're always around and they're never contributing anything. They're always around and they don't contribute anything. Be careful of those. Right? Be careful, because right now in the world we're in, we have to be. As time goes on, we are going to be able to be less cautious and guarded as those people are filtered away from the planet. But that takes time. And if you think about it, for those of you here, most of you here, it takes time. But think about this. Just yesterday, or so it seems to me, I had two little girls. And I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, my youngest is 29. I remember when she was in diapers, like yesterday, 29 years ago. My oldest is 33. And I'm like, I remember going to basketball, coaching her in junior basketball, all this stuff. That just happened. I'm like, unbelievable. The transformations that we're going to have to go through, and it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You think about it. In 14 years, the bulk of what we need to do for this planet to get to the next level, it's going to be 14 years. In 14 years, it will be 2040. By 2040, things are going to be lined up then. 2040 is not that long. For those of you who've had a child, by a blink of an eye, they're 15. I say this because it seems like it's long, and when you're going in through the middle of all this stuff, it seems like a long time, but it is not. It is not. Oh, the fire's gone down a little bit. Should I put a little bit on? Maybe one more. Maybe one more. One more little thing. Because it's kind of gone down a little bit, right? It's not that long. It's not that long before the kinds of freedoms that I was talking about earlier is here. And when we say those who are first will be last and those who are last will be first, the divine is not talking about the meek and the humble. The divine is talking about those of us who create the reality. But right now we create it and others benefit. We're talking about those who are doing the work. Because the meek and the humble will not inherit anything. The action takers and the movers and the shakers and those who bring the light, you are not going to be meek and humble if you're bringing the light. You'll be that light will knocked right out of your hands. You have to be brave. You have to be determined. And you have to be steadfast. Even when they knock you down, you're going to get right back up. And they will pay the price. Right? But right now we're going through it because there's no other way. Because the disease, the virus, right, that has colonized the minds of certain humans and those who wear human skins, it takes time to disentangle them. It's like a web. It's like a yarn. And it takes time because you can destroy the whole thing if you think you're just going to go in there and just unravel it and take a pew pew or a bomb to it. No, it takes a little time. And it ain't all that much time anymore. We've spent many lifetimes, and now we got less than a quarter of a lifetime. Oh, it's not going to be pretty, but what's going to come out at the end is going to be. What's going to come out in the end is going to be. I'm just going to let this go down like that. I was going to put some more in there, but I'm not. because it's getting cold. And so it's a beautiful thing, you guys. For those of you who've come in, put your benevolent intentions, because only benevolent intentions are going to work with this fire, out into the universe, out into the planet. It only takes a few of us to do that. And it's always been just a few of us. Don't let them tell you that one person is not enough to bring transformation. Because indeed, often it's been one person or just a few, and it always has been that way. Put your intentions in the fire. Participate in these energies being brought out. We've got the lovely moon here. Maybe I can show the moon for you guys. Let me see if I can show you the moon. Let me look up here. I'm gonna pull the phone off so you guys can see the moon. Let's say hello to our lovely moon here. Let's see if I can kind of get it. There it is. There it is. That's the moon right there. So the moon is with us. She's with us. We got the fire. We got this wonderful energy coming down. And it's all happening for you, for us, all of it. It's all happening for us, all of it. Thank you guys so much. We have 6 for sharing and liking this live. You guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So all this, your creation abilities, your creating, your creative ability, your imagination, you have a soup of support that's coming in constantly, coming in at breakneck speed, so quickly their heads are turning 360 multiple times. It's so fast that the anti-life, anti-evolution movement cannot keep up with it. It's too fast, too powerful, too vast to be opposed. Too much coming in. Too much coming in for it to be stopped. Very similar to what's happening over, in that place, North Africa. They cannot stop what's coming in. It's too much. And just see yourself as the recipients, while at the same time, the transformers. The transformers, right? You're a transformer. They have told you that in the cartoons. But did you believe it, or did you even notice it? Right? You are the transformers. You are more than meets the eye. You're a transformer. An entity in disguise, because you're not a robot. Right? Because you're not a robot. But they tell you, with their robot movies, about yourself. All the time. Ant-Man. I think he's one of the X-Men, right? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. He's considered the most powerful of all the X-Men. You know why? Because he has quantum abilities. Do you know the only way you can venture to the quantum realm? Anyway, I'm gonna ask, does anybody know the avenue to get to the quantum realm? Put a 1. You don't have to do it. Put a 1 in the chat if you do. If you know how to get to the quantum realm, put a 1 in the chat for me. Very important question. This is going to be see the gnosis in here. Give me a one if you know. I'm going to assume that you don't, because by now somebody would have put it in there. The only way to get to the quantum realm is through a human being. Did you know that? If you're on this planet, you ain't going to the quantum realm unless you go through a human being. Ant-Man was considered the most powerful X-Man because of his quantum abilities. Hello. You've just been told about yourself again by Stan Lee and Marvel. Because the only way you can get to the quantum realm is through a human being. They've got the sciences of quantum mechanics and quantum mechanics and quantum. Anyway, they've got two sciences based on quantum. Mainly theoretical. But they've never explained how they came into the knowledge of the existence of the quantum realm. Now, maybe I haven't read it. How did they come up with that? Quantum physics and quantum mechanics. You know how they did it? They might not say it because they're not allowed, by studying you. You think that they're still not studying? Yeah. And they're studying the non-physical side of you. That's right. They're studying the non-physical side of you to learn about existence. So the sages have said, you want to know existence? Know yourself. The scientists also know that to be true. But they will never tell you. Because they will sound too much like a spiritual sage if they did. Because science and spirituality are not that far apart from each other. They actually go hand in hand. They go hand in hand, folks. So when you're participating in all these celestial energies, galactic energies, coming through the universe from the Divine Mother, it's subtle. You can't see it. You can't touch it. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. Some of us can feel the effects of it. But you cannot have any kind of physical experience, you cannot describe it in any physical way. When I say the energy is coming down from the planetary alignment of the planetary parade, and I say the energies, can I paint a picture of what that energy looks like? Nope. Can I tell you what it tastes like? Nope. Can I tell you what it looks like? Nope. Can I tell you what it sounds like? Nope. Can I tell you how it feels? No, I can describe the effects and the feelings of the effect, but none of it is physical because it cannot be observed in any way. You can only observe the effects and talk about the effects. That's it. So when people say, oh, if I can't see it, touch it, feel it, hear it, smell it, taste it, blah, 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 it's not real. Do not listen to them. Because at that juncture of their existence, they are fools. Because you simply ask them one question. You don't even have to go to these energies I'm talking about. Ask them, have you ever experienced love? And everyone has, because they can't live. If the mother does not love the child, When it's born, the child will die. This is medical knowledge. It's not even love is required for a child to stay alive. It's not about just food and all the stuff that you survival stuff. It needs love. And everybody experienced that. Can you tell me what love looks like? No. We can only draw a symbol. A symbol. That symbol is not love. That symbol is the finger that's pointing to love, meaning the finger that is pointing is not the thing. Can you see love? What color is it? Can you hear love? What does it sound like? Can you tell me describe it in any way? No, you cannot, but we all know it exists. You can describe the effects of love. You can describe how someone behave when they are in love. You can describe behaviors, you can describe actions, activities that point to love, but you cannot describe love in any way physical at all. You can only comment on the effects, and you can only comment on the behaviors that people convey or show when there's love. You can only see it when people or animals, because animals show love all the time. But you can't describe it. You can only see the behavior that points to it. You can only see that symbol that we make about love that also points to it. But in no way can we describe it in a physical way, other than to symbolize it or to look at behavior. So when people say they can't see, touch, feel, hear anything, it's all a bunch of bunk. That can be just easily debunked with one simple question about something that we talk about all the time. There isn't anybody that's past the age of 3 or 4 that's never mentioned love or never expressed it. So when we talk about the energies coming down and they want you to describe it and all this stuff, do not waste your time on them. Because they just sit and think and they just want to argue or debate you. You do not debate your experience. You do not debate your spiritual awakening. You do not debate your ancestors and the knowledge within you. You don't debate any of that. I'm really, 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 really good at debating. But if you notice, I never do debates. I could have 250 people in a live if I went to that debate format here on this app. Just look at the debates that go on. But I will not put my spirit, my ancestors through any of that because it's not up for debate. Not at all. All right. Thank you all for being here. My fire's almost done. Thank you all for being here. And this is a wonderful experience. Continue to work with this, with the planets, the stars. And it's simple, just with your intention, because you have all of that. The stars are within you. You have all of the ingredients, right? Don't relegate that to the so-called star seeds. Nothing against them, but you're from the stars too, and you're also from here. And so when you want to imbibe the energies of the stars, the planets, they're here for you. You simply with your intention, participate with them. Then whatever information else comes after that, you take action. That's it. That's all that's required, folks. That's all that's required. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to call it good for the rest of the night. Thank you all so much for being here. And until Thursday, for those in the community, I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, you guys.